Good morning, dear students. In today's lecture of the subject Human Resource Management, we will be going through performance appraisal, okay, methods adopted into performance appraisal, okay, both traditional as well as modern methods, okay. Each method of performance appraisal has its strengths as well as weaknesses, okay, which may suit some of the organization or which may not be suitable for some of the organization. As such, there is no single appraisal method accepted and used by all organizations to measure their employees' performance. Okay, all the methods of appraisal adopted so far have been classified differently by different authorities. Okay, now some of the most widely used classifications of performance appraisal methods can be categorized as traditional methods and modern methods. Okay, so in today's lecture we will be going through traditional methods as well as modern methods which are adopted in performance appraisal or evaluating a particular employee. Okay, methods. Traditional methods. See, traditional methods does includes ranking method, paired comparison, grading, forced distribution method, forced choice method, checklist method, critical incidence method, graphic scale method, essay method, field review method, confidential report. Okay, and modern method it does includes management of objectives, behaviorally anchored rating scales, assessment centers, 360-degree appraisal, cost accounting method. Okay, one by one we will go through all these methods. Okay, and we will see, okay, how it is benefiting the organization and how it is benefiting the employee also. Okay, see, the first method used into traditional method is ranking method. Okay, ranking method it is the oldest and simplest formal systematic method of performance appraisal in which employee is compared with all others for the purpose of placing order of worth. Okay, the employees are ranked from highest to lowest or from best to the worst. Okay, in doing this, the employee who is the highest on the characteristic being measured and also the one who is lowest are indicated. Then the next highest and the next lowest between next highest and lowest until all the employees to be rated have been ranked. Thus, if there are 10 employees to be appraised, there will be 10 ranks from 1 to 10. Okay, however, the greatest limitations of this appraisal methods are that it does not tell that how much better or worse one is than another. Okay, the task of ranking individuals is difficult when a large number of employees they are rated, and it is very difficult to compare one individual with other because, okay, whenever we consider the behavioral traits, okay, whenever we consider the behavioral traits, okay, they do vary from person to person and individual to individual. To remedy these defects, the paired comparison method of performance appraisal has been evolved. Okay, so just whenever we consider ranking method, yes, all the employees into your organization they are ranked, okay, from highest to lowest. Okay, but okay, there are certain lacunae of this. Okay, as you compare one individual with another individual, okay, their behavior pattern may vary, their traits may be different. Okay, how you can compare this, right? So for covering some of the limitations or disadvantages of this method itself, the second method adopted is paired comparison. Okay, in this method what is done, see, each employee is compared with other employee on one-to-one basis. Okay, usually based on one trait only. The rater is provided with a bunch of slips, each coining pair of names. The rater puts a tick mark against the employee whom he considers the better of the two. Okay, or whom he insists, whom he insists that that one is better. Okay, the number of times this employee is compared as better with others determines his or her final ranking. Okay, the number of possible pairs for given number of employee is ascertained by a formula, that is n into bracket n minus 1 upon 2, where n stands for the total number of employees to be evaluated. Okay, and by calculating this, yes, the pairs so ascertained gives the maximum possible permutations and combinations. The number of times a worker is considered better makes his or her score better. Okay, such scores are determined for each worker and he or she is ranked according to his or her score. One obvious disadvantage of this method is that the method can become unwieldy when large number of employees they are being compared. Okay, next method is grading method. Okay, what is grading method all about? In this method, certain categories of worth are established in advance and carefully defined. There can be 3 categories established for employees, that is outstanding, satisfactory and unsatisfactory. Okay, there can be more than 3 grades. Employee performance is compared with grade definitions. The employee is then allocated to the grade that best describe his or her performance. Okay, such type of grading is done in semester pattern of examination and in the selection of a candidate in the public service sector. Okay, one of the major drawback of grading method is that the rater may rate most of the employees on the higher side of their performance. Okay, see just what is done into this method. Yes, grades are given to the employees. Okay, usually the employees are given grades in 3 categories: outstanding, satisfactory and unsatisfactory. Okay, then next method is forced distribution method. Okay, forced distribution method. What is this method? See, this method was evolved by Tiffin to eliminate the central tendency of rating most of the employees at a higher end of the scale. The method assumes that employees' performance level conforms to a normal statistical distribution, that is 10, 20, 40, etc. This is useful for rating a number of employees, job performance and promotional ability. Okay, it tends to eliminate or reduce bias. It is also highly simple to understand and easy to apply in appraising the performance of employees in organizations. It suffers from the drawback that improve similarly, no single grade would rise in a rating. Okay, so this is a statistical method actually. Okay, then forced choice method. Forced choice method is developed by J.P. Guildford. Okay, it contains a series of groups of statements and reiterates how effectively a statement describes each individual being evaluated. Common method of forced choice method contains 2 statements, both positive and negative. Okay, examples of positive statements are: he gives good and clear instruction to the subordinate and can be dependent upon to complete any job assigned. A pair of negative statements may be make promises beyond his limit to keep this, inclines to favor some employees. Okay, each statement carries a score or weight which is not made known to the rater. The human resource selection or section does a rating for all sets of statement, both positive and negative. The final rating is done on the basis of all the sets of statement. Thus, employee rating in this manner makes the method more objective. Okay, the only problem associated with this method is that actual constructing of several evaluative statements, also called forced choice skills, take a lot of time and effort. Okay, this is time consuming process actually, or this method is time consuming in nature. Next is checklist method. The basic purpose of utilizing checklist method is to ease the evaluation burden upon the rater. In this method, a series of statements, that is question with their answer in yes or no, are prepared by the HR department. The checklist is then presented to the rater to tick appropriate answers relevant to the appraisee. Each question carries a weight age in relation to their importance. When the checklist is completed, it is sent to the HR department to prepare the final scores for all the prizes based on all the questions. Okay, then while preparing questions, an attempt is made to determine the degree of consistency of the reader by asking the same question twice but in a different manner. Okay, however, one of the disadvantages of the checklist method is that it is difficult to assemble, analyze, and weigh a number of statements about employee characteristics and contributions from a cost standpoint. Also, this method may be inefficient, particularly if there are number of job categories in the organization, because a checklist of questions must be prepared for each category of job. It will involve a lot of time, money, and efforts. Okay, so this method is also time consuming in nature. Next one is critical incidents method. Okay, in this method the rater focuses his or her attention on those key or critical behaviors that make the difference between performing a job in a noteworthy manner. Okay, there are 3 steps involved in appraising employees under this method. Okay, which are these 3 steps. Okay, first one is a list of noteworthy, that is good or bad, on the job behavior of specific incidents is prepared. Second one, a group of experts then assigns weightage or score to these incidents depending upon their degree of disability to performing a job. Third, finally, a checklist indicating incidents that describe workers as good or bad is constructed. Okay, see what happens into this method. Yes, first one, a list is prepared. Okay, list is prepared based on the job behavior of specific incidents. Okay, then a group of experts, okay, they do assign weightage or score to these incidents depending upon the degree of disability to perform a job. Then what is done? Finally, a checklist indicating incidents that describe workers as good or bad is constructed. Okay, and through this checklist itself, the behavior of the workers, they are evaluated. The basic idea behind this rating is to appraise the workers who can perform their jobs effectively in critical situations. This is so because most people work alike in normal situations. The strength of the critical incident method is that it focuses on behaviors and thus judge performance rather than personalities. Okay, its drawbacks are to regularly write down the critical incidents, which become time consuming and burdensome for the evaluators, that is the managers. Generally, negative incidents are positive ones. It is a rater's inference that determines which accidents are critical to job performance. Hence, the method is subjective to all limitations related to subjective judgments. Okay, so whenever we consider this method, it is quite subjective in nature. It is quite subjective in nature. It depends on who is evaluating such type of thing. Okay, who is evaluating your performance. Okay, so it is quite subjective in nature. Okay, the next method is graphic rating scale method. Graphic rating scale method, what is this method all about? Yes, rating scale method is one of the most popular and simplest techniques for appraising performance. It is also known as linear rating scale. Okay, in this method, the printed appraisal form is used to appraise each employee. Okay, the form lists traits such as quality and reliability and a range of jobs performance characteristics for each traits. The rating is done on the basis of points on the continuum. Okay, the common practice is to follow 5-point scale. Okay, the rater rates each appraisee by checking the score that best describes his or her performance for each trait. Okay, all assigned values for the traits and then totals it. This method is good for measuring various job behaviors of an employee. However, it is also subjected to raters bias while rating employees' behavior at job. Occurrence of ambiguity in designing the graphic scale results is biased in appraising employees' performance. Okay, again it is based on the rater's viewpoint. Okay, how to rate the appraisee. Okay, so it is quite subjective in nature. Then is essay method. Essay method is the simplest one among various appraisal methods available. In this method, what is done? The rater writes a narrative description on employee strength, weaknesses, past performance, potential and suggestions for improvement. Okay, its positive point is that it is simple in use. It does not require complex formats and extensive or specific training to complete it. However, essay method, like other method, is not free from drawbacks. In the absence of any prescribed structure, the essays are likely to vary widely in terms of length and content. And of course, the quality of appraisal depends more upon rater's writing skill than the appraiser's actual level of performance. However, because the essay are descriptive, the method provides only qualitative information about the employee. In the absence of quantitative data, the evaluation suffers from subjectivity problem. Nonetheless, the essay method is a good start and is beneficial also if used in conjunction with other appraisal methods. Okay, next one is field review method. Okay, when there is a reason to suspect rater's biasness or his or her rating appears to be quite higher than others, these are neutralized with the help of review process. The review process is usually conducted by the personnel officer in the HR department. Okay, the review process involves some of the activities. First one is identify areas of inter-rater disagreement, help the group arrive at a consensus, ensure that each rater conceives of the standard similarity. However, the process is a time-consuming one. The supervisor generally resent what they consider the staff interferences, hence the method is not widely used. Okay, then it is confidential report. Okay, confidential report, what it means, it is a traditional way of appraising employees mainly in the government department. Evaluation is made by the immediate boss or supervisor for giving effect to promotion and transfer. Usually a structured format is devised to collect information on employee strength, weakness, intelligence, attitude, character, attendance, discipline, etc. Okay, so a confidential report is prepared. Okay, so that yes, the employee can be properly evaluated. So with this we do conclude today's lecture. Thank you.